Welcome to MPItv. I'm Sarah Solomon Dodden, and we want to wish you a Happy New Year. On this edition of MPItv, we are looking at a decade of change following off-the-cuff comments made by President Obama that proved to be costly for the meeting and event industry, particularly in Las Vegas. But the recovery for Las Vegas has been remarkable, and we have the Meetings Mean Business Coalition to thank for that. Michael Masari with Caesars Entertainment joins us now. Mike, tell us how President Obama's comments impacted business for you then.
We used to average at that time about $6 million in cancellations per quarter, which for a business our size is quite normal. The next day before 12 noon, I think we got $15 million in cancellations. And so President Obama's comments mattered greatly to our business, and it mattered greatly to our customers. So we had a lot of customers that heard those comments and canceled. In fact, we had one customer that sent a $4 million cancellation check overnight that arrived at my office. I came in the office at 8 a.m. and there was a $4 million check from the day before. So that's how impactful it was. It was a quite tumultuous time for all of us.
Some may look at the president's comments as a blessing in disguise. We spoke with George Agell from Visit Orlando about how the industry unified as one voice.
Thankfully, the effort to come together and form some kind of coalition to go fight this back immediately came out of the ground. And then phone calls were made to several of our colleagues and friends in the industry, and we found no one unwilling to come forward and invest and contribute to what it needed to be done to try to figure out how we're going to offset the impact of this. And the rest was history, and then we formed what was, at that time, we later called Meetings Mean Business, but it was essentially a coalition like none we've ever had in our industry before, where there was no shortage of anybody coming on board. And every industry group came together at the same time.
Thank you, George. Now, Mike, do you think the industry has changed much over the past 10 years? And if so, what has been the most significant change that you've seen?
Where there has been mammoth change is around the periphery of meetings and events. What I think people do is they confuse the fact that there's more ways to get audience participation today than there was 10 or 20 years ago, with the fact that today audience participation is important and back then it wasn't. Audience participation has always been important. It's just that there's more ways to do it now, and technology has supported some of the desires of meeting and event planners for hundreds of years. Technology now makes them possible in so many new ways. So it's really those advances that allow you to execute meetings the way you dreamed you would.
So it's not so much change as it is enhancements in how we plan meetings and make them more impactful. Do you find that planners' requests have changed over time?
The event organizers, they're really focused on the exact same things. They want to increase their sales of their company. They want to launch a product. They want to increase membership for their organization. That's no different than it was 10 years ago. Now, when they reach out to a facility like ours, they're interested in other things. I mean, certainly CSR is something that's more in the forefront than it was 10, 15 years ago. Certainly having the technology to facilitate audience participation, like we talked about earlier, these things are more at the forefront than they were prior. But really, for event organizers and meeting planners and meeting sponsors, the reason they have the meetings, they haven't changed much.
And as we look ahead to the next 10 years, what are you most looking forward to?
With the Forum, which will have the 2 largest ballrooms ever built and the 2 most visible ballrooms ever built, we're really trying to put something together that is a campus that can adapt to the changes that we don't know are coming. I think we're kidding ourselves if we can predict what 10 years or 15 years is really going to look like. You have to be interested and inquisitive and want to help others. And if you can do that, then you're going to do quite well in the hospitality and the meetings and events business.
Mike, thank you and your incredible team at Caesars Entertainment for playing a major role in the success of the meetings and events industry in Las Vegas. We have seen the power of coming together as one voice to educate the world about the economic impact of meetings and events. You can learn more about the coalition that sparked a decade of change by logging on to meetingsmeanbusiness.com. And to hear from even more industry professionals about the remarkable change we've seen in Las Vegas, be sure to read the January issue of The Meeting Professional. We'll see you on the next edition of MPItv.